These guys are probably the most disciplined of the martial arts practitioners. They've devoted their lives to the study of Kung Fu, Buddhism. And they also play host to some of the best martial arts demonstrations. As you'll see later on, body conditioning plays a very important and very big part in the monks' training. And they start them very, very young. It seems their day starts very, very early and finishes quite late. You can imagine just what a bundle of energy this little chap is throughout the day. You see him just springing out of bed just like that. That is amazing. And if you're a follower of martial arts films, you'll be very familiar with the Shaolin monks and all their training. You'll be seeing demonstrations throughout this 13th Martial Arts Festival from the Shaolin monks. The arena. First up, we are going to have Eskrima versus Krav Maga. Now, if you've never heard of Krav Maga, it is a fairly recent martial art. Hails from Israel. And Eskrima, that's been around for quite a while. Again, probably hasn't had the recognition it deserves. After each practitioner has actually demonstrated their art, there will of course be the usual demo by the Shaolin monks. As you'll see later on, fighting moves have been incorporated from various elements from animals. And also, you see the drunken fighting later on. It's not just about a study of martial arts though, there's also a study of the medicines. The herbal and other traditional Chinese medicines. And whatever you do, do not try this at home. These guys, trained professionals, train every single day from very early in the morning, and this is all they do, is train and live to train. Increase their knowledge of the arts and the medicines. And the Shaolin monks, because they don't have to defend their temple anymore, they used to have to defend their temple from vagrants and pirates who would come and try and steal the treasures that they had. Because there's less call for that nowadays. They've actually embarked on world tours. We've brought them to you earlier in the year on Eurosport. Brought them live from Vienna. But if you ever get a chance to see them live and in action and a whole show of them, it is definitely worth it. Do not pass up that opportunity. To show you how old the Shaolin monks, really the story of the Shaolin monks is, it began in 497 AD, when Baijiu, a traveling monk, came to China from India and had a temple built for him by the emperor Xiaoweng, who was impressed by the monk. It was built in the Henan province, where monks would meditate, pray, read and copy scriptures, and some monks would practice Kung Fu. In 527 AD, Bodhidharma crossed the Himalayas into China, was initially refused entry to the temple, and it was said he spent 9 years in meditation, and that is some commitment before being allowed entry. Then, when he was allowed entry, he actually taught monks to strengthen their bodies with the strengthening and breathing exercises. The monks learned the kung fu that was, of course, essential when the temple was to be defended from attack in those days by the bandits and some of the emperor's troops. Of course, that is no longer the case, which is why this really has brought it to the world. And they are able to demonstrate their art. And this is the way they now show the world and also raise money for their temples. Quite going off there. I mean, these guys are brilliant. So I think one mistake can be forgiven. Some of the legendary training is the Hall of Wooden Men, where they have a row of wooden dummies. They're, of course, as they've shown, masters of armed and unarmed combat. We return boost for disarmed soldiers so they could defend themselves against armed enemies. These guys certainly are demonstrating you a lot of weapons you're going to see here. Here's the chain. Everywhere they go, the audiences love them. Well, they certainly pack out the stadiums. That's probably one of the reasons why there are so many people in attendance here at the Stade de Coubertin in Paris, Bercy. Apologies, I keep on forgetting where I am. We're actually in the Palace de Omnisport in Paris, Bercy.
Le Portugal.
Of all the elements, the knees and the elbows. There you can see another one of the Shaolin monks' training tools. I'm sure there's easier ways to get off it than that, though. Of a ballet dancer. Monks certainly have been active with their tour that they've been doing of Europe and their involvement in the martial arts festival. They seem to certainly have a full calendar. If you get a chance to go see one of their shows, we're going to see them for the entirety of the show, then it is definitely something to take up. So as you can see, from one generation to the next, martial arts is certainly for all ages. And legend has it that 13, that's 1-3 Shaolin monks fought troops of the Imperial Army and helped the founder of the Tang dynasty fight for his throne. And certainly through some of the demonstrations we've seen today, their excellent and proficiency in both the armed and the unarmed combat, that can't be too far away from the truth.
Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, je vais maintenant vous demander de saluer le départ de l'empereur de Chine et des moines de Shaolin. Et de remercier les valeureux compagnons qui nous ont...
The Shaolin monks, who for me have been one of the highlights of this, the 13th Martial Arts Festival. Certainly come a long way since the first one in about 1975.